Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session designed to inspire a client that I was working with to take on a winnable challenge rather than an intellectual challenge that by definition was impossible. And sometimes there is this appeal of doing something so spectacular, taking on this almost monumental quest. But if someone isn't really making any progress on that quest, all it really is a drain of resources. And if that drain of resources is then interpreted as some kind of cognitive decline, then the paradox is that it can create a self-fulfilling prophecy where by trying to solve an unwinnable problem, it then uses up intellectual and cognitive resources, and in doing so is perceived to be some kind of an issue, maybe fatigue, maybe lack of concentration, whatever it might be, and then in turn creates even less motivation because there's an evaluation made of, well, what's the point? This particular client had the early stages of type 2 diabetes. Typically, type 2 diabetes, if you're not aware, is very different from type 1 diabetes. Type 1 is typically something you're born with. Type 2 is kind of a biological reaction, normally to diet. There can be some genetic contributions as well, but fundamentally, a diet that is very, very high in refined carbohydrates or processed food can lead to insulin resistance, and that insulin resistance can then lead to what is diagnosed often as type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes, it's perceived to be not a serious condition because so many people have it, but actually it's very serious. And I've worked with clients that have had type 2 diabetes, that it can lead to real issues with kind of blood flow, can lead to ulcers, the kind of ulcers that don't heal as well. These diabetic ulcers don't tend to heal, and then that can lead to amputations, is a very, very serious thing. But there is lots and lots of evidence and trials of type 2 diabetes being reversed. And generally what reverses it is a low insulin environment, so really reducing the amount of refined carbohydrates and reducing the element of let's say, sugars and processed foods can actually be very, very positive at reducing the insulin levels, and then that can restore that insulin resistance. Again, obviously lots of whole foods, vegetables and fibers can also help, as well as increasing activity levels. So in this session, what you're going to hear is two key things. One, an appeal to a part that wants significance to take on a challenge that is actually winnable. And then secondly, to do some of those things that would just represent a step in the right direction, increasing vegetables, increasing activity like walking, and increasing the amount of low glycemic fruits. And the emphasis there is on low glycemic fruits. You've got fruits that are high in sugars, like bananas. That's still better than processed foods. And then you've got low glycemic fruits like berries, like blueberries and things like that, which tend to have high micronutrients and contain the fiber, but very, very low sugar levels. That's the optimal kind of thing for reducing type 2 diabetes. This is not a cure for type 2 diabetes. It is an appeal for a part that wants a future of health to make a decision to reverse type 2 diabetes. What the suggestions are in this session is getting that inertia to momentum to get the ball rolling, to actually start making some progress. I'd encourage anyone to research. There's lots of studies out there on how to reverse type 2 diabetes. It is not easy. It is not an easy thing to do, but it is an achievable thing to do, which is better than an impossible thing to do. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, take a deliberately slow breath, as deep as you can. And before you exhale, just decide to intend to release whatever needs to be released, and allow that release to leave your body as you breathe out. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of calm relaxation, and maybe you're releasing tension. Maybe you're releasing stress, perhaps worries, perhaps intrusive thoughts. Just allow them to leave your body and feel what it would feel like if these things are melting away and leaving in your outward breath, enabling you, as you breathe in, to breathe in resourcefulness, and as you exhale, to breathe out anything unresourceful. It's not resourceful to hold on to tension unless you need that tension for something. It's not resourceful to hold on to anxiety if there's nothing you can prepare for, or if you are not in danger. So make the evaluations that you're safe. Make the evaluation that there is nothing to do, and therefore you can relax. And as you evaluate a feeling of safe relaxation, notice how much more easier it becomes to let go. The ideal thing to let go of is any barriers, blocks, or limitations. Sometimes a limitation is a belief or an identity, and sometimes we can get attached to a goal, a pursuit, even an affliction. Gives a sense of meaning in a world full of chaos. But sometimes it's good to take a step back and ask the more important question: do I like feeling this way? Is it useful? And if something isn't enjoyable or useful, that's the ideal thing to let go of. So feel as you breathe out that you can do that. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a powerful computer. And I want you to imagine that this powerful computer is capable of doing important, useful things for the world. But instead, this computer has an impossible goal to achieve. Maybe it's solving a riddle with no solution, or a maths problem with no answer. Maybe it's trying to come up with an answer to a purely philosophical question. But just imagine this powerful computer allocating so much of its resources when nothing useful can come from those resources. And then imagine the owner of that computer just decides, just for a month or two, to allocate the same resources to something useful. Suddenly, the computer goes from being a tool, a device that uses so much energy to get nowhere, to then use the same energy to make incredible progress. So as you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to imagine what it would be like just for a month or two to decide to focus on a different problem to solve. That powerful computer could have all of the processing power in the world, but would not come up with a solution for immortality. So allow those goals that were going nowhere not to be halted, just paused, and decide perhaps to deploy the same resources to different areas of your life. And maybe one area of your life could be to come up with a plan that harnesses your unique skills and talents, that could turn into a business or proposition that would add value to the world. That may not be easy, but that is a solvable problem to deploy those same resources. Or you could imagine what you could do to reverse a health condition that many people have reversed many, many times. A diet permanently high in refined carbohydrates can lead to insulin resistance. And that insulin resistance could lead to a form of diabetes. And I wonder what would happen if you made a decision to reverse certain symptoms. You know it's possible because many people have already done such things. And maybe it would be beneficial. I want you to deliberately decide that rather than pursuing impossible goals, you will decide instead to pursue challenging yet achievable goals. Maybe to create a business plan that is viable, or to reverse a health condition that many other people have also done. I want you to imagine what it would be like for you to start small, make tiny changes, that could lead to progress in a particular area of your life. Envision your body as a finely tuned machine that thrives on the fuel of whole foods, vegetables, and low glycemic fruits. Each healthy choice propelling you towards vitality. And imagine taking a walk each day, feeling the ground beneath your feet, and with each step, know that you're moving closer to health and balance. And allow yourself to feel a sense of pride with every choice of nourishing food that takes priority over refined carbohydrates, recognizing these decisions as steps towards reversing symptoms of type 2 diabetes. Picture your blood sugar levels becoming more balanced. With each healthy meal, visualizing this balance as a serene and tranquil sea within you. And imagine yourself enjoying vegetables and fruits, discovering new flavors that satisfy and heal your body, making each meal an adventure in health. There are certain things that you can't change, but you can believe in your power to change this, understanding that each small decision to eat healthily and walk daily adds up to significant progress. And when you do something that your body isn't used to, maybe it has a reaction. And maybe that reaction is just withdrawals to high sugar levels. So what would happen if you embraced discomfort as a positive sign, a signal from your body that it's adapting, healing, and becoming stronger? Imagine your future self being vibrant and healthy, thanking you for the choices you're making today to reverse your diabetes before they become irreversible. There are people with type 2 diabetes, with severe ulcers that led to amputations, and you can't reverse an amputated limb, but you can reverse dietary choices. So imagine taking control of the things you can take control of. And affirm to yourself that walking 20 minutes a day is not just exercise for your body, but fuel for your mind and your brain, all that oxygen, a way to connect with your body and the fresh air around you. Your cravings for refined carbohydrates will diminish, replaced by a genuine desire for foods that nourish and energize you. So feel a sense of excitement about trying new vegetables and fruits, knowing that each one brings you closer to health. Some people say you are what you eat. So reflect back on what you've been eating these last few years. If your psychological health, emotional health, and physical health isn't where you want it to be, could it be possible that it is somehow related to those consistent food choices? Acknowledge every healthy meal and walk as victories, milestones on your journey to reversing diabetes. Encourage yourself with the knowledge that reducing refined carbohydrates and increasing physical activity are powerful tools in transforming your health. Trust in the process of change, acknowledging it's not easy, but is achievable. Knowing that every day you're making choices that lead to a healthier, happier version of you with cognitive abilities that are enhancing rather than diminishing. And perceive your journey not as a challenge so much as an opportunity to rediscover your body's natural state of health and equilibrium. Celebrate each day that you choose vegetables, fruits, and a walk as another day you've chosen life and health. And you can reaffirm your commitment daily, thinking about achieving your health goals and knowing that each step you take is a step towards reversing your type 2 diabetes. But most of all, imagine that you're giving the supercomputer that is your brain a winnable challenge, an achievable goal, rather than a black hole of impossibility that is just taking resources and giving no sense of accomplishment back. Choose a game that is winnable. Start small and build bigger. Congratulate yourself on the wins and forgive yourself on the setbacks. You can take control of your life, but you start with something achievable. Breathing in and breathing out, feel like you're returning to the present, activating powerful resources, and then very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, confident, feeling motivated to start making small but significant changes to free up mental resources to take your life in a positive, empowering direction. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.